Thank you very much for joining and welcome to today's webinar where Integritie and BlueSphere will be presenting the Knowledge Capture Anti-Counterfeit platform. The two organisations have joined forces simply because there's a lot of expertise on both sides, and we're bringing this together to hopefully provide a solution to the market that can enhance and improve their investigative scenarios and also provide new technology to help bring efficiency to businesses as well. To start off with, I'm going to hand across to Mark Davison at BlueSphere Health to take you through some of the introduction as to how the two organisations have come together.
Thank you very much, Sam, and good afternoon, everybody. Good morning if you're in the US. Thanks for tuning in. We're just going to spend a few minutes today talking about the issues and the challenges around maintaining a secure and efficient supply chain in today's pharmaceutical and medical device world. Those are becoming ever greater in terms of compliance with legal obligations and laws such as the Drug Supply Chain Security Act in the US, the Falsified Medicines Directive in the European Union, and many other jurisdictions which have similar and broadly the same obligations to look after your supply chain in a provable and evidential way. So we look at the supply chain of BlueSphere as a almost a continuum. In fact, increasingly there's interest in going from patient back into the manufacturing base to recycle. So this is really a wheel, as you can see on screen. But the key point is that patient safety has to be at the core of all of this. And the way to ensure patient safety is to be able to produce a trail of what happened to your product, both in good times and bad. And the management of incidents of suspected counterfeits, diversion, falsification, etc., is a really integral part of being able to do that. And that needs systems. One of the myths that seems to be propagating at the moment is that serialization or coding of your product is sufficient to comply with many of these new laws, and that's simply not the case. So we'll go through in a little bit of detail what some of those challenges are, and then Sam will show you some of the ways that we can help you address those. So next slide, please, Sam. And one of the key skills, I suppose, that BlueSphere can bring to this process is being able to help you look at your own business and figure out exactly what actually happens to product. Not necessarily in the sense of how you make it, but the data that goes with it, the visibility you have of who gets access to the product, who might be able to tamper with the product, who is doing what in your supply chain. All of these things require you to know your standard process so that you can figure out what happens when things deviate from that. We do a lot of work with customers just mapping out their standard way of doing business, and that seems like something that people should know, but companies grow by acquisition. They acquire new contract manufacturers, they buy and sell products and product licenses, so it's often not written down in any one place exactly what's needed. So we can help you do that. Next slide. And we also work with customers on many different areas around anti-counterfeiting, product integrity, and related areas. So we work on software support with Integritie in terms of knowledge capture, but also in a couple of other areas around serialization. We help you to do risk assessments and process mapping, as I mentioned, figuring out what are the main problem areas and how should you deal with them. We can help you with planning and rollout of the software itself, both in traceability, which we do a lot of work in, but also in the anti-counterfeiting and knowledge management space. And of course, upstream of that, we can help you to figure out the strategic pieces that tie all this together. So in terms of the rest of the webinar, we're going to be discussing the particular characteristics of knowledge capture software. But bear in mind that this isn't something that you have to parachute in and figure out how to use yourselves. We'll be there to hold your hand as you do that. So I think that's my last slide, Sam, and I'll pass over to you for a bit more discussion about knowledge capture and what it can do.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark. So knowledge capture is a information management system, content management system that enables organizations to capture content, understand it, process it, and actually report and understand what's happening to that information within the business. We can typically break this down by 4 key components. Initially being capture, so whether this be on the unstructured side using social media or online marketplaces. We also have capture methods when we're understanding physical products, so when taking part in raids or going through a store to actually find information relating to certain products on the shelf. All of this information is then passed through into a case management system where we can then start to process and understand what's actually happening and track the entire investigation as well. So all inbound and outbound correspondence is completely tracked throughout a central case system. And finally, this all then feeds into number 4, which is reporting. So being able to understand how many seizures you've taken part in a certain month or year, for example. What's the amount of money you've reclaimed due to the processes and the capture methods behind the scenes. So being able to really get that business insight and make better business decisions based on the data you're actually capturing and processing. This process can be typically broken down via 6 main steps. So 1 and 2 on this particular screen are very much the capture side of things. So unstructured information from online marketplaces, social media, email systems, or it could be structured content. So brands typically have a lot of legacy data. Usually that's structured in databases. We can pick all of that up and bring that back into the central system. And we also use natural language processing on customer feedback, so we can then start to understand what your customers are saying as well. So if your customers are hinting at a defect or an issue with some products, it may actually be leading to they've been provided with some counterfeit goods. So all of these different channels, communication channels, are all fed into the central system, which at number 3, we then store all of that content. So we have a counterfeit data hub. And this is where all of your business documentation is stored, and we can then make business decisions and workflow processes on that information to make sure the right person has access and is interacting with that content. So this could be routing that information through to number 4, where a case is created, or it could be bespoke workflow in number 5, depending on the business leads. We're also able to then dump all of this information into reporting modules, and we have integration paths into the IBM I2 platform as well to enable further data visualization and analysis of that content. So this slide very much encompasses what Integritie and BlueSphere are looking to accomplish in 2017. So this is an overview of a shared platform where we are looking to work with a number of different brands, anti-counterfeit organizations that currently provide things like marketplace information, can provide website takedown processes, but also government and law enforcement agencies as well. We're looking to bring all of these organizations together into a shared platform where information can not only be stored in a secure manner, but can be shared across organizations as well. This is a 2-way share, so both organizations would have to agree before any data is shared. And Integritie's background is very much in the content management space. So we understand the fact that data has to be secure, we understand compliancy regulations, and we'll work with organizations to make sure all of the content and data is compliant when using this platform. So this is very much where we're moving towards in 2017 to actually be able to expose all of this search functionality. Being sort of from outside the counterfeit space to start off with, we've been able to look at this with a fresh pair of eyes, and what we've seen is there's a lot of organizations out there that will bring a small subset of functionality, and no one is really bringing all of this information together. So brands are having to source data from 5-6 different organizations, leverage processes from 5 or 6 different organizations, and it would be much more efficient and probably a lot more cost effective to actually bring that information together, and that's where we're heading. So to start off with some of the demonstrations, the first aspect I'm going to take you through is on the online side of things, so e-commerce and marketplaces, how we can search for counterfeit products and how we can do some takedown processes as well. Now, some of you might be thinking that, oh, we don't have a problem with the online marketplace side of things. What I would say to that is you probably haven't looked hard enough. Almost everyone we've encountered who doesn't seem to think they have a problem with online marketplaces actually does when you actually start to look into that content. So it could be sellers, rogue sellers selling grey market products at different prices. It could be completely counterfeit or knockoff products also being sold on marketplaces. Within the pharma industry, obviously, we then open ourselves up to some very key health implications if certain medicine is being sold and branded as certain products, but it's not actually that particular product itself. So to start off with, I'm just going to jump into my browser and just give you a quick overview of this particular marketplace module. So what we have here is we've run a search against amoxicillin. So we're looking to capture content related to this particular product, this particular medicine, I should say. So what we get is information as to what marketplaces this has been sold on, and we can define this based on a whole range of different online sites, online e-retail sites. So in this case, we've got things like Amazon, eBay, we've even got links into Taobao, so the predominant Chinese marketplace site. And what we're able to do is capture all of these listings automatically. So we set up search terms, we set up these terms against these marketplaces, and it will pull this information in manually. So rather than having someone trawl through all of the results, all of these marketplaces to try and find this content, the new data will be populated on a daily basis. We also capture who's actually selling these products as well. So things like seller name, when it was first listed, the price it's being sold for, and this can help exclude some results as well. So if you have certain whitelisted sellers, some authorized sellers, you can add them behind the scenes, and what this means is you'll then exclude those results from this particular view. What we're also able to do is define these results based on price as well. So it could be a certain price point you know is counterfeited or not, and you can then exclude or include some of those listings when doing an investigation further. So as we go through this particular online side of things, I'll come back to this a bit later on, but we're also able to interact with the takedown process on the sites like eBay, for example. So we can start to issue notices and get these products and listings taken down automatically. And all of this is done from within this central client. We can simply select one or multiple of the products themselves, and we are integrated behind the scenes to make sure the compliant takedown codes and takedown notices are used to ensure that these products are actually removed online, and it happens in an automated fashion. So just to explain the takedown process, we've just got a slide here quickly. So it's very much a case of as you select the products themselves, and especially things like eBay, we've integrated into their notice system. So it will pick up the item numbers of those particular results, and it's also integrated to the particular codes that eBay recognize as far as what needs to be embedded in order to take down that listing. And again, you can do that for multiple listings at the same time to speed up that process and improve the efficiency when coming to actually remove some of these listings from the online side of things. The next quick demonstration I want to take you over is regarding the capture of physical seizures as well. So we've worked with a number of organizations that have difficulty analyzing and understanding when products captured in the field, physical goods in front of them, are potentially counterfeited or not. Most of this relies on very manual processes, having to try and understand differences, perhaps using outdated techniques and outdated documents. Whereas what we've looked to do is improve this by bringing mobile technology into the fray. So with our mobile application, what we're able to do is leverage our technology and leverage the documents and data currently stored in the Knowledge Capture Data Hub, and we can do a scan against a product. So again, we're following on the amoxicillin theme, and what I'm able to do here is scan the particular barcode, and this will then do a lookup against the system to find any documentation relating to that particular product. We can then add further encryption to this, so documents can be encrypted on the device as well, adding extra layers of security. And this is just a quick example as to the type of information you may be supplying to your agents in the field. So it could be that certain badges or logos on the actual products themselves should be of certain quality, of certain standards. It could be that the Braille has to also be in place on the product packaging as well. But what we're also able to do from this mobile application is kick off case processes as well. So what I've done now is hit the report option. I can add photos, images, evidence basically, and start to index this case. So it could be counterfeited, it could be grey market, for example, and that will send it down a different workflow process depending on the index values I choose. I can add in some additional comments to help an investigator get started, and once I hit submit, that will then be sent off and generated into our central case management system, which leads quite nicely onto the case system. So the case management system is very much a place where all counterfeit related information can be stored, captured and processed. So this results in inbound and outbound correspondence being captured within a central location. So if I just bring up the case system now, what we get to see is in the top left-hand corner, we get things like a unique reference number. So this is generated for every single case that comes through the platform. So you always have a unique reference number to actually track against a particular investigation. We can then start to index this. So some of these fields are in the mobile app as well, things like the country, location as to where we found this content. And we then have specific things such as reference numbers or estimated investigation costs. So all of these fields, all of these case identifiers here are completely configurable. So if there's certain fields here that you think, oh, we wouldn't actually use that, but we would look to capture certain other pieces of content, it can all be loaded in and can all be reported on at the end of the day as well. Along with the case details, we also have details of the actual product itself. So one of the most important things within the brand protection space is being able to justify budget and also understand the amount of value, so how many products you've actually captured and the potential market value of those products. So say, for example, we took part in a raid and found 20,000 boxes of amoxicillin, and each had a unit value of $15.99, for example. The system itself would automatically work out those values. And we have this process of finished versus unfinished products as well. So a finished product may be ready to go. It could be taken down from a shelf in the store, whereas unfinished might just be the raw materials. So you've raided a manufacturing lab and just found some of the raw materials in the processing phase. But again, all of that information, all of those goods does have a cost, and it all needs to be captured within a central system. As we go through the other tabs, we can also collect suspect information. This makes it incredibly easy to search across cases and find when certain suspects are linked between different cases as well. And we can also look at proceedings and results as well. So what happens after a case? What happens when this case comes to a close? Are we able to reclaim costs? Has it gone down as civil, admin, criminal proceedings? And we're able to track that all within this central system. Within the middle, we also have all of the business documentation relating to this particular case. So we can see here we've got some photos of the actual products that were found, but what I can also do is generate content as well from within this platform. So I can send outbound content. So if I hit the letter option, what we have is integration paths into Microsoft Office, which enables me to pull in case details in order for me to efficiently bring this information in and process this sample submission report. So in this case, we're going to look to get this sample investigated in the lab, and it's pulled in things like the batch number, the UPC code for me automatically. I can simply add in some instructions, and at the top here we have an add-in option which enables me to either print and save it. So if I choose this option, it will send it to a print queue along with saving it back into the case system. However, if I just choose save to ACM, what this will do is automatically save this document as a brand new doc within my case management system. So at the very top here, we've now got a brand new document created on the 14th of the 2nd, and that's now within my system for any other user to actually view, utilize, and understand the process that we've gone through so far. So on that point, every action I take, so now that I've added a new doc to the system, it's all being tracked within a full audit trail. So from a compliance standpoint, you understand exactly who has done what to what documents within the business as well, and what cases within the business. So if I just jump back into the slides, very much a case of what we was just covering off. Behind the scenes, we can also have bespoke workflows and capabilities to help your agents, help your users within the field actually process this information in the correct manner. So if there's a very defined step of instructions you typically have your users follow, then you'll need to, then you can build out those workflows and those steps within this system to help guide them through that process and make sure they stay compliant as well. And what this effectively leads to is a chain of custody, so a central digital archive of everything anti-counterfeit. So what you're able to do here is package up this information, and if perhaps goes down a legal perspective or down a legal route, you can package this information up as evidence and submit this through. And along with the audit trails, for example, you can then start to understand exactly who has done what, and this can be provided to law enforcement to help with further investigations, to help with criminal prosecution as well. So all of this information currently being stored in the case system can be used for those purposes. And what this also leads on from a business perspective is the analytics and reporting side of things as well. So not only being able to track the volume of cases coming through the system, but also being able to track on a business perspective. So see how your individual users are doing, see if they're meeting their SLA, see if certain cases are taking longer to actually process, and you can start to understand why. So within the case module, I can simply hit the reports option, and this will then load up some various dashboard reports that I can start to analyze. So it could just be that we get a general breakdown, and again, all of these are completely drillable, so if I select anything here, it will then give me a customized view. I can also break all of this content down by date ranges, so it could be a yearly, quarterly, monthly, or even a daily view, and this is great for a business to actually track on a daily basis how many cases are being processed and how much is being processed through the organization. All of this at the moment is currently going against values, so we've picked up that within our seizure process we've picked up a certain amount of content, and we've assigned values to that particular product, and all of that is fed through, so we can see what products and what categorizations of our products are currently being counterfeited the most based on the highest values. What we can also take a look at is a geographical breakdown as well. So this is great for identifying trends and hotspots across the globe as to where the most amount of seizures are happening, where the most amount of cases are being registered. The darker the blue means the more amount of money is currently being reclaimed from those locations, and this can help internally with your business to actually allocate new resources. So you can understand, perhaps you have a team of individuals that are being underutilized in a certain location, however in the country next door there could be a spike in information, spike in seizures, and they need additional help. You can then reallocate those resources out, and it can make your business much more efficient when actually tracking and understanding counterfeit processes. The final thing I'll take you through as well, we've also got this dashboard view where we can then start to understand information based on seizure type. So if, for example, I just want to look at export seizures, I can simply hit the export option, and this will then filter down the rest of my views. So I now know that within the export, when we found goods being exported, this happened in these particular regions, and it's related to these brand categorizations as well. And again, all of this is completely configurable, customizable. So when you load in your brands behind the scenes into the case system, all of that information will be customized and located on these particular dashboard views. Across the top, we've got things such as proceeding and results, seizures by date, and control charts. So the more and more tabs that are in Case Manager also have their own bespoke dashboard reports behind the scenes. And again, all of this information can also be exported out and provided back to the business should they want to actually leverage some of this content in slightly different scenarios. Another great benefit of the reporting module is it can be exposed via a browser as well. So if you just wanted to expose a specific report to, say, a management level view or an external organization, that can be provided and can be provided on a bespoke matter as well. So just back into the slides. So every single piece of case information is available for reporting on, and it's very much a case of we would look to work with organizations to understand what they want to report on, what they get the most amount of value out at the moment, but also what reports they're building manually. So a lot of time is spent these days trying to build out reports, pull information together manually, whereas when we can automate this process, it can lead to better savings, time savings within the organization, and your resources can be just deployed to more interesting projects as opposed to just building out reports as well. So the next demonstration I just wanted to take you through was the underlying repository and the ability to actually search across this information. So when most organizations provide such a repository, you're usually able to search on index data, so metadata that you've loaded into the platform when the documents have been loaded. Within the knowledge capture repository though, what we're able to do is do full text searching as well. So what this means is searching within the documents. So if we're looking for a particular product name, product categorization, it could be a suspect name, for example, we want to search within the actual document. So it could be reports, it could be investigation packages. All of that content is already in the system, and what we're able to do is search through that information. So when I spoke earlier about our vision for 2017, being able to search across this type of system, we're also looking at implementing a federated search as well, which will enable you to search across other organization systems to see if there's any information related. Obviously, we would work with the brands and make sure all of their data is always secure, but what we've seen from an outside perspective is there is very much a need for organizations to start sharing information when it relates to counterfeit investigations. It can help massively to reduce the overall counterfeit problem, because what we typically find is the end goal, the bad guys, are actually working together and are generally manufacturing products across companies. And if they can work together to take out those guys, then it will make it much quicker and much easier process. What this effectively leads to is an intelligent data hub. So we're applying all of our content management expertise to actually enhance investigations and enable organizations to actually find the content they're looking for. So we're well aware that organizations will have a whole host of legacy information that can be loaded into the platform to enable intelligent e-discovery and analytics on that information to enable organizations to actually share content but also stay compliant when managing that data. So just a couple of examples in where we've picked up information from, things like our case management system, archived repositories, databases, email systems. All of this content can be brought in. And one of the things I'll show you next is around our unstructured side as well. So things like social media data is potentially brand new to some organizations, but we've been in the field for quite some time now and have our own hooks into the social media side. So if I take you back to the marketplace data we originally started with, we're also able to integrate into the IBM I2 platform. So what this enables us to do is visualize this data a little bit differently and start to understand key people within the data to actually target for further investigation. So within IBM I2, it's a great tool for actually visualizing very structured data. So on this chart I have here, what we have in the middle is listings from Taobao. So we've extracted this content from the Taobao marketplace. We've then run a search query for a particular product. So in this case, we're looking at amoxicillin. And on the right-hand side, what we have is a seller highlighted in red that has been selling and interacted with the most amount of the listings on here. So some sellers may have multiple listings for different products. Some sellers may have multiple listings for similar products. In this case, we've picked up this person that has 9 different listings, all relating to the same product, amoxicillin. And as we look at this data, what we can start to see is those in orange have the next highest number of listings on these sites. It could be that this individual is known to us and we want to do some further investigation on them. It could be that we can now link this individual to multiple other cases that are already in the system. Without being able to visualize some of this data, though, some of these bits and pieces might have been missed, unless you remember that you're working on that particular person or you've seen that particular person's name or alias within a case previously. So again, it's just different ways in which we can take brand new data sources and data channels, expose them to your business, and bring new efficiency and insights to this information. What we're also able to do from the online and social media side of things is run queries against these sites, and this can include closed Facebook groups as well to enable the search of what's being sold online, who's actually selling the goods. And again, we can pull that information into the I2 platform to enable wider investigations. And what that typically leads to is when you look at your own data, when you look at just some of your minimal information you're currently capturing, as opposed to the much wider data sources that you can potentially tap into, what you'll often find is that you suddenly get access to much larger networks. You start to understand how people are connected. And what this will do is enhance your investigations, perhaps link multiple investigations together, and generally make it a bit easier to actually try and find out who these people are. So the end goal is obviously to find out who the manufacturers are, who's distributing these products. And what we're able to do with this type of information is bring all of those questions together and bring that into this central location. So within I2 as well, we have a direct integration path to social media content. So if, for example, we have been provided a couple of suspect names, what we're able to do is, from within the platform itself, we can search across social sites for individuals. So say we've been given the name of a particularly suspect-looking individual, we can add them to the chart. We can also monitor their content as well. So when these individuals are posting public content online, what we're able to do is understand what they're posting, and we use natural language processing and content analytics to flag up content within that information. I've currently got two suspects on the chart, and perhaps I want to see how these two people are actually connected online. It could be one's a manufacturer, one's a distributor, but we've yet to make a connection to our traditional data methods. What I can do is expand on this content, and what this will provide me with is things like friends or followers information. We can also expand on content as well. So if you're looking to understand how people are conversing online, what this will do is bring me out a data bloom. And we can currently see that this individual, the second one I added to the chart, is currently separated from the main bloom. So currently there's no connection paths. However, if I run a similar expansion, what this will look to do, and using the power of the I2 tools, this will look for duplicate entities on the chart, and will build out those links for me automatically. And what this will look to do then is identify those in the middle that are actually connecting these two individuals together. And suddenly we've gone from having two separate pieces of data to finding a common connection and a common link. It could be that this individual is known to us through previous investigations. I may go back through my data hub, run a search for this particular name, and it may uncover additional information I can use within the actual investigation as well. So at this point, what I look to take you through now is some of the planned functionality and what we are planning on doing throughout the rest of 2017. So one of the biggest aspects for ourselves is to integrate with track and trace modules. So although we have the physical side of things to leverage barcodes and do lookups, we understand within the pharma industry, track and trace is incredibly important. So serialization, understanding how that can be brought in. So at this point, we're not saying we're going to create our new platform. We're not saying we're going to create a brand new module because we're aware there is a lot of serial and track and trace solutions out there. But what we are experts in is integrating and bringing additional data sources in. So if you are currently using a track and trace or a serialization process and would like to find out more information as to how that information can be brought into a central location, can be improved to actually enhance your investigations, then we'd welcome working with you to understand not only what you're using at the moment, but how you want to use it moving forward as well. And just to give you an idea as to some of the pedigree of the organizations using the knowledge capture platform, it's currently in use by over 4 million contracted users in over 350 different countries. Some of the big names include the likes of Procter & Gamble, within the manufacturing and retail space, and as you can see on the list as well, we have a whole range of blue chip customers that are leveraging the underlying platform. So this is not new technology. This has been around a while. We are simply positioning it and targeting the pharma industry simply because we see there being certain issues with investigation efficiency that we believe we can help with this type of technology. And to give you an idea as to the type of cost relating to this particular solution, so the elements that we've taken you through today, so the knowledge capture case management system, the reporting module, the mobile capture side of things, and also being able to load some of your legacy data into the central platform, we can offer this to you for a very low monthly fee of £880 per month. And what this will provide you with is a hosted platform hosted in the Integritie cloud, fully secure, and in addition to this we can also provide I2 licenses as well. So if you are looking to expand your functionality, expand your content, then you can absolutely get in contact with us and we'll be more than happy to put together a proposal for yourselves. This solution is completely modular as well, so if there's certain elements that you think, right, we could really use with a case management system, or we just want reporting, we just want the mobile capture, we can absolutely work with you on that as well. So all of these modules can be used individually or combined together to bring real business power and business insights to your organization. So as far as next steps, what we're able to do is, obviously we'll record this webinar and send this out and make this available for you to review further. But we're also looking to work with Mark Davison at BlueSphere Health, and he can be the main point of contact to actually answer any questions, take you through any processes that you're looking to evaluate, and provide you with any pricing and additional information in regards to what you have seen today. So at this stage, if I just pass back to Mark, just to see if there's any closing comments from his perspective, and then we'll go from there.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks for the demo there. And I think just one observation from working with brand owners around the world, they all have different problems and different scale of problem, from sporadic, once in a while issues through to completely the other way, with a torrent of daily problems that they have to solve in terms of people trying to rip off their product. The one underlying factor in all of that is that they are always under-resourced. And for me, this is one of the few tools I've seen that enables them to do more with less, for probably much less than the monthly travel budget of most of the people doing this job. So that's what excites me, is the ability to streamline and strip out processes from the brand protection function and really get the job done much more effectively and keep people safe. So as Sam said, we'll be happy to follow up individually with people to really address the unique problems that they have in their organization. And please send me an email if you want to have a further conversation, and we'll get a meeting sorted out. But in the meantime, I'll pass over to Sam for the final few words. And from me, thank you very much for your attention this afternoon.